Nerdrotic.com.
What's up? What's up, everybody? We're not that late. It's only 8 minutes. You're not going to notice in Spotify world out there, but thank you, everyone. And before we even get started, F's in the chat for Ray Stevenson, man. Ray Stevenson passed away unexpectedly. We'll just say at 58, the greatest Punisher. Got to meet him at the Comic Outpost way back when they were premiering the Punisher Warzone. Completely sweet guy. Stayed until the last person. The line went down the street, around the corner. He stayed past his time, gave everybody their time until the last person was done. So I really appreciate that. Got to know him, hung out with him for a day, and a totally cool dude. So rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. That totally sucks, man. Watch Punisher Warzone if you haven't. It's a damn fine Punisher movie. He's also in Rome and so many other things, but those are two of the best things he's in my opinion. We also have a bit of a to swing it the other way. We hit 750,000 subscribers today, so thank you. I don't have words for how grateful I am. This has been tons of fun. It continues to be tons of fun, and that's the important thing. Having the time of my life. Dog in the background. We got a dog appearance.
Oh,
for those of you at home,
yeah.
There's a couple of cute dogs walking behind X-Ray Girl. So a mild celebration today, and we'll probably do another one before FNT. Yes, we have a bit. Everybody loves a nooner. Even if it's it's an 11:38er instead of a nooner, but
It's almost nooner time.
In the end, everything comes out the same. I was waiting for that one. And yes, Chris Gore has seen The Flash, so he will talk about it. It will be non-spoiler for you spoiler phobes out there. It will be non-spoiler. So, yes, 750,000. You're right, chat, 750,000. So, welcome, Chris. How's it going?
It's going well, Gary. I'm excited for you at 750,000. That puts you well ahead of Dan Vask.
Actually not.
Does it?
No.
I don't know. Should we check on him?
No, it's not.
Should we see how he's
I'm
doing?
still behind Dan Vask, but
You're behind?
Oh,
well,
No.
I didn't go out and sing this beautiful Christian song that gave him access to a whole new audience. There's no danger of that ever happening on this channel. But yeah, no, he put out a great song. It went a bit viral, and yeah, he's kind of kicking my ass right now, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm nipping at his heels still, and this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got to start marathoning. So I got to start sprinting while he marathons. But dude, yeah, you saw The Flash. You saw Little Mermaid. I'm actually gonna see Little Mermaid, which is something that would have never have crossed my mind. But I'm like, oh well, it's gonna be the topic of conversation. So
I haven't seen Little Mermaid. Alan
Alan saw it. That's right. Yeah.
Alan's a huge Disney fan, and he hated it. He hated it. He said it's gonna really make like at about the 90-minute mark. The movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Why so long?
Exactly. He said at the 90-minute mark, kids were squirming because he saw it at a screening with like a lot of kids. And he said that it is not going to get repeat business. There are going to be fewer showings because of the running time. Hollywood, let me just say this. This is maybe a discussion for another stream. Hollywood has a running time problem. Why are these movies so long? Why can't Hollywood make a 2-hour movie? It becomes, especially when you add trailers in, going to the movies now is a 3-hour experience. Yeah. Give me a good 90-minute comedy. What's happened to that? I mean, Indiana Jones is 2:30, right? Like, The Flash is 2:25. Little Mermaid is 2:15. These movies don't need to be over 2 hours. They don't. Now, Oppenheimer, I've heard, is 3 hours. That's going to be an Oscar movie. It's Christopher Nolan. I'll let that one slide. But Jesus, these movies are too long these days, and they haven't earned the running time.
No, I think it's as dumb. I think it's as absolutely dumb as like there was another $1 billion movie that went over 3 hours, and they're like, well, maybe that's the key. It's 3 hours. It's the producers and the idiots in Hollywood and the bankers focus so much on their pie charts and their focus groups that they just never recognize that it's the story. And they're looking so far in the analytics that they're like, Avatar was over 2 hours. Maybe our movie needs to be over 2 hours. I also think it has something to do with streaming services and minutes watched. I think it definitely.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I mean, like, why wouldn't they just release this? Used to be a thing. Remember, you've got your theatrical cut, then there would be the director's cut or the extended cut. I actually like extended cuts. The Lord of the Rings, the extended cuts are great. I mean, I love the theatrical versions. They're fine. The extended cuts are amazing. Same thing with, look, whatever you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I actually liked it. I thought it was, I like the extended cut.
Sure.
His real version, that is.
Once in a while, there'll be a good one. Most of the time, exactly. I could not agree with you more. I'm 90 minutes to 2 hours. Sisu was a perfect length. If it had gone a minute longer, it would have probably gotten it started dragging. But 93 minutes, boom.
Perfect.
It was perfect. It was perfect. And yeah, I love the extended cuts too. I can't even remember watching the theatrical cuts now.
Yeah.
I put a disc in accidentally and I recognized it immediately. No.
I can't.
No, I can't. And I went back in. So, yeah, dude, a 2 hour and 20-minute Little Mermaid movie. Flash is 2 hours and 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, 2 hours 20.
Indiana Jones is 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, Indiana Jones has no business being 2 hours and 20 minutes. When do you get to see that one, Chris?
I don't know. I'm not exactly. Look, certain studios, I'm just not on their good list.
You're not on the Christmas list?
Yeah. By the way, The Flash, I went to a fan screening. My friend, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to out him, but he gets to go to a lot of test screenings. He kind of knows how to do this. He was waiting in line at 10 a.m. So shout out to my friend. He knows who he is. 10 a.m. I rolled in at 5 p.m. and then we all walked in just before the movie started, about at 6:55. So I feel very fortunate. I was in there with a bunch of fans, frankly, children. It was, I don't know what it is. It's like they let a class from the 4th grade and their parents.
Was it one of those free screenings they passed out? Like, because I used to get them all the time at my comic shop where they pass out the passes and it's first come, first serve.
Exactly. It was one of those, but this was like all kids and I couldn't believe it. And this movie is not for single digit age kids. It's definitely, at least teenagers and above.
You know what is hilarious in San Francisco? It's the same people went to those screenings all the time, and it was a bunch of old Chinese ladies.
Oh,
it was. God. And they would go around because like you get the passes on, I think it was a Thursday. It was a Tuesday or a Thursday. And they would know. And they would go around every shop and get the passes. And
you know what? It's like you say free. I'm there.
Dude, it's a fact. Anybody who went to those screenings, if anybody who, is in the chat from my comic shop days, you know who I'm talking about. There was the same 30 MFers in line in the front of the line with their little folding chairs and their books for every movie. And it didn't matter what it was. And it was hilarious. I freaking loved it. Freaking San Francisco. But yeah, dude. We're going to talk about The Flash in just a minute.
We have to.
I have learned some things about this movie that I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm just not going to tell you guys.
Oh.
Okay.
Ominous.
We'll see how long that lasts. I'm so terrible at that.
That's what she said.
Gary, this is your show, so I'm taking your lead. So
okay. Well,
how far you want me to go?
I really feel I don't like Ezra Miller. Obviously, no secret. And this was before all the crimes he committed and got away with because he's part of the alphabet community that other actors and people, just regular folks, would currently be in jail for right now. As a matter of fact, I did more time than he did for doing something less than he did. So I have a dog in this fight. But if he truly has gotten on the wagon, and great. I want him to be sober and happy. I don't care how he identifies. I just think he's a terrible Barry Allen. I think he's an awful Flash. I think they muted him down in the Snyder Cut enough to where he was decent. And I agree with your take on it. As a side character, as comic relief, lead actor with two of them sounds like the ninth circle of hell to me. But yeah. A lot of people are looking forward to this movie for one obvious reason: Michael Keaton Batman. I'm the same. I'm a fan. I want to see Michael Keaton Batman back so bad. I was so bummed when he dipped out of Batman Forever. I was totally bummed.
Yeah.
It just it ended up being a wise move. But it's going to be cool to see him come back. And there's other things we've heard, scuttlebutt. Some are true, some aren't. That'll be cool to see. But, ultimately, this is a lame duck movie still, in my opinion.
I kind of feel like it is, because how does this reset? Now, by the way, the screening I saw was the fan screening, which was a total shit show. I don't know who they were giving these tickets out to, but we were told to wait in a line. My friend was the very first person in line at 10 a.m. The only 6 of us got in. The first 6 got in, and there were hundreds of people behind us. I felt terrible. And I'm like, how are there, we're the first in line. There are hundreds of people. What size is the screening? We walk in and the screening is already full. We sat in the front row for an IMAX screen. It was fake IMAX, but whatever. I couldn't believe it. So they really screwed this up. It sounds like they were giving preferential treatment to groups, and these were organized. Some were fan screenings, some were and I don't know, the thing is this, I feel like this is their strategy in promoting this, because what are you going to do? Put Ezra Miller on some press tour? That's dangerous. I've seen him speak out of turn in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. The guy's a freaking weirdo. I mean, he was dressed in a Princess Toadstool outfit talking about smashing the patriarchy on a Justice League panel. And everyone else there, all the other actors, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, they're all just sort of like, well, that's Ezra. He's a weirdo. But you put him on a press tour, he's definitely going to say something stupid. So my feeling is, in lieu of a press tour, they're going hard into fans. I don't know if you are aware, Gary, they released a third final trailer for The Flash last night, after all the fan screenings. And there's a QR code that's at the end of that, which, of course, with anything, dude, I'm so obsessive with this stuff. I will collect UPC codes from boxes of Pop-Tarts if there's some exclusive.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even use the codes on the comic books that they were offering for the free digital, because I wanted to keep them on. I hated those things.
Yeah,
story for another day.
Screw that. What I'm saying is that I will redeem offers on the backs of cereal boxes or Pop-Tarts, because it's the thing is, people don't go through the effort. So when you get whatever the item is that's part of that promotion, you have a thing that's rare because it's not something you can buy in a store. Those like redemption kind of things. So I actually, all I did was register. It's part of the DC community. I don't know if this is something new that they're doing to promote DC films, comics, whatever.
This is like their fifth attempt at it, by the way.
Yeah, an attempt. Exactly. Who knows how long it'll last.
Yeah.
I was a paying member of StarWars.com back when it was a fan club. I don't know if you remember that, Gary. That was way back when.
Yeah.
This is like late
90s.
I
was too. I was also a member of the fan club when you mailed away to it.
Oh my God. Same
Got
here.
my
Bantha
tracks. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And your little
Bantha
patches and
tracks
stuff. And Kiss Army too. All right. And we'll get to that. I guess we got to introduce the lady.
Oh yeah. Sorry. We're still in introductions. Oh my God. I'm sorry, man.
It's
all good.
It's all good.
People
just talking.
People
Flapping their gums.
All I have to say is that I seen images of Ezra as a Flash. I think Grant Gustin's always going to be my Flash because
he just looks better.
He looks better. I mean, I just found this image. I am so sorry, chat, but I feel like I need to share this with y'all. That is an outfit. For those who were like, what was I shocked with? It was this.
Can't imagine why the DCEU.
That's the outfit, dude. I was there. I was in Hall H when he wore that. And look, I actually don't mind Ezra Miller as the Flash in the Justice League because not everybody can be like a mega Chad like Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill. He kind of balances them out. He's fine in small doses. Like he's comic relief, small doses, fine. He fits as part of that. If you're casting the group of the Justice League, they all can't be the same. You know, they all can't be badasses, right? So he's not a badass. He's sort of a slightly on the spectrum, Gen Z, kid, right? And he works for that. But that was the outfit he was wearing. I was at that panel. It was just, he would say something, you'd kind of roll your eyes like, who is this guy? Like, whatever.
Right.
I agree with your take, Gary. He's probably damaged from being in Hollywood and just having to do what it takes to be in Hollywood.
Yes. That would be my best guess. Would be that he knows where the bodies are buried, we'll just say. Will be nice since we're early in the stream.
Right.
And has been passed around quite a bit. And yeah, that could definitely damage somebody. But yeah, the Flash, I guess they put tickets on sale day before yesterday for a screening on the 12th. I got to it late. I have a terrible seat, but I'm going on the 12th to go see it, June 12th here in San Antonio. They had one screening, which is a miracle because usually we get skipped. But yeah, I'm going to go see it a little early, like 3 or 4 days early. And that's just well, yeah. I want to see Michael Keaton Batman. But Chris, why don't you give us our chat? This will be a spoiler-free review of the Flash.
Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go up until we get to I'll tell you some bullet point story stuff up until we get to midpoint or. Not anything really from the third act, but you can see where things are going.
Yeah.
So it starts off with actually kind of a cool action scene involving the Justice League. Without Superman, by the way, he's off doing something else. So they need Barry's help. Right. And it's actually a pretty funny scene. It's a pretty funny scene where basically, Batman is chasing down some criminals and the suit that he has on is literally the colors of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman, the blue and gray. It's
so the one we seen in the trailer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so cool. So he's off doing one task. Wonder Woman's off doing something else we don't know. And Barry has to deal with this hospital where a maternity ward, a bunch of babies have fallen out a window and he's trying to save them all. it's actually a pretty funny scene. In any case, that's resolved. You know, this whole Justice League action scene, which I won't go into too much detail, is resolved. Barry reconnects with Bruce. He reconnects with an old friend from college, and he's reminded of the loss of his mother. His father is some new possible evidence has been introduced, and his father may get released based on this evidence. And he's just lamenting the loss of his mom when he was a kid. I mean, it's a thing that's a scar. It's a thing that also connects him to Bruce Wayne because, you know, loss of family, loss of parents, and all of that. Barry suddenly discovers during that action scene, he can slightly go back in time. He figures this out. Could he use that to save his mom? Could he figure out exactly how to do that? And has a conversation with Bruce, not as Batman, about the ethics of doing that, changing time. What would that entail? What are the dangers, etc.? Well, of course, stupidly, he decides to do it and sees his mom and his dad, and everything's okay. I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically, he ends up running he sees a version of himself that's younger than him before he got his powers. About 18 years old. I would say Barry's like 25. Okay. And this is a younger, dumber, stupider. He's like a younger brother. So the first half of the movie is him kind of figuring all that out. He's got a version of Barry that has no powers. He's an idiot. It's very much like Back to the Future 2. In fact, there's like a Back to the Future reference because in this multiverse, this universe, Eric Stoltz starred in Back to the Future. In fact, one of Barry's roommates has an Eric Stoltz Back to the Future tattoo on his leg, which it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I will say the movie is very cleverly written. Here's the issue, and is that Ezra Miller's not a leading man. He's not a leading man. Ben Affleck, leading man. Henry Cavill, leading man. Jason Momoa, depending. I think Jason Momoa was really good in Fast X. I think he's a great Joker type villain. Ezra Miller's not a leading man. You've got Ezra Miller, which is already kind of annoying, and you've got a more annoying version of him that's younger, stupider, more impulsive, doesn't understand how the Flash powers work. So it's like at the very beginning, you kind of get to see like Barry is re-experiencing his origin through a younger version of him. Come to find out there's a crisis. Zod appears in this version of Earth because he's not only gone to a different multiverse, he's gone further back in time in this particular version of Earth. Zod appears, and Barry's first thought is like, we got to find the Justice League. There is no Justice League in this universe, right? So they go looking for like, where's Superman? Where's Wonder Woman? They're searching. They do find a Bruce Wayne, and they do go to Wayne Manor. And this is when this is an hour into the film, by the way.
And this is all pretty much in the trailer. So
yeah, this is all pretty much in the trailer, but I'll just say this. I'm like cringing, like, oh, some of these jokes don't land. Two Ezra Millers are just kind of annoying. He even does some things in it. You thought he was like when he goes to visit his mom, he doesn't have he's in his Flash costume. He doesn't have clothes. So he has to he steals some clothes from an old lady. So he's wearing like a woman's top. It's very much what a they, them would wear. Exactly. And then there's even another scene where the other version of Barry is completely naked, and not just for a little bit of time, like a lot. He's naked a lot. You see his butt very clear. The only thing you see are the you don't see the twigs and berries, as Alan said on our stream, so to speak. There's and I'm sitting here in a room with 7-year-olds watching this film thinking this is kind of inappropriate. Like the amount of nudity, one quick thing, like a copper tone.
Maybe not for Hollywood.
And I'm like, this is going on, this amount of nudity is just a little too much. So now it's all played innocent and goofy and fun or whatever, but it's just a little I just say it's alarming. it's alarming.
Too much cheek action.
Too much cheek action.
Yep.
So I will say this, that the director definitely is not a hot phobe. I mean, there's a like in the Justice League action opening scene, you see a very clear shot. It might have been because I was in the front row in IMAX of Wonder Woman's ass. Like basically her mini skirt kind of flips up and it's like, did we just see like Wonder Woman's ass? And he lingers a little too long on Supergirl's ass too. No complaints, by the way. No complaints, but it's just nice to see it. It seems like there's an effort to desexualize. Look at Guardians 3, desexualize women in entertainment and just not allow them to be sexual or even just attractive in a female sense. And damn, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot looks smoking hot. Supergirl, a very feminine version of Supergirl. She may not have the skirt, but she has the ass. I'll just say that. So they go to Wayne Manor, and there is basically a recluse Bruce Wayne, older. I would say, like very much like Bruce Wayne from the beginning of the Dark Knight Returns comic. Gray, long, like you don't recognize him. He's a hermit, effectively. But what was really cool, there's an action scene when you meet Bruce Wayne that's in the kitchen. They recreated the kitchen from Batman 89.
That's awesome.
Remember the scene with Vicky Vale, Alfred, and they're in the kitchen. It's that kitchen. Like now only as a nerd, I think you'll recognize it in a minute. I'm like, holy shit, that's exactly the kitchen. I know, stupid detail, but that's what a big fan. It's really the director, I think, did a lot with what he had, and I think the script is very clever. So they need to convince Bruce Wayne of the threat of who this guy Zod is. They have to find Superman, and they go. This is all Flashpoint stuff. They go to like get Superman is like in this compound with the Russians. So they go there, except it's not Superman, it's Supergirl. They break her out, and then it's sort of a half-assed version of the Justice League versus Zod, and he is undefeatable. And that's all. And it gets from the first half of the movie is just like, it feels more like a comedy more than anything. The first half is a comedy. And if you're not an Ezra Miller fan, it's going to be hard to.
It sounds very. It sounds very No Way Home to me. Like they spend an hour getting to what people really want to see.
Right.
No Way Home stuck the landing. Had a very satisfying ending. Flipped some stuff that even one thing I wasn't happy with, but for the most part, really good fun movie at the end. It sounds like they've reshot this a bunch. By the way, this is according to people, not one person. We're gonna say two people who worked directly with Warner Brothers. We'll just say in this realm of superheroes. This is the most expensive movie ever made. Now, I did not get the distinction of by Warner Brothers or in the history of Hollywood. Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, realistically, we'll probably just say Warner Brothers, which would still be pretty impressive. There's a reported budget, but that's not it. That's not it. So I was told by these two people that it needs to make $1 billion to turn a profit. Which it could do. But still, like you've spent so much money on a movie to make $1 billion. That's supposed to like carry your studio for a long time. And now it's just going to be like, oh, we paid catering and we paid everybody off and we've got $5. We can buy a bag of chips.
Michael Keaton in this movie is fucking amazing. My face hurt from smiling. He's so good. It's the Batman we wanted him to be. I mean, obviously they were technologically, restrained in 89 and 92, but man, the stuntman they got to play him, because obviously it's not Michael Keaton. He's a much older dude, but damn, he's in the suit. He's a badass.
So we get to see him fighting. I mean, that's why I like Batman Returns more than Batman, because he fights in that movie.
He fights a lot in this, and He's got the gear, and also he's a confident he's full Batman, right? And he's having to deal with effectively two dipshit Robins, effectively, right? And so there's some comic relief.
So would you say does it truly turn into a Batman movie when he shows up?
Because I don't really care about anyone other than Batman at that point. So for me, it is. Yeah.
But does the film still focus on Flashes or whatever they are, or berries?
Flashes stuff. There's such a good. I don't want to ruin the joke, but I'm dying to. There's a really amazing joke about the first Batman costume. You know how like the neck, Michael Keaton couldn't turn the neck. There is a hilarious joke about that. That's in there that obviously the director is a huge like knows his DC movies and knows his DC lore. So there's so much in this to love, but it's getting to the second half of the movie. But yeah, it's not a Batman movie per se. It's more of a it's like a team up movie, but Batman dominates because he's the leader. You know, he's the smart one. Barry knows stuff that Batman doesn't know just because he experienced the world surviving Zod. And they're just, you know, they don't have a Superman. They don't have a Superman. They have a Supergirl, but Supergirl is not Zod. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Okay. Without saying too much, I heard somebody say this. I've heard a couple people say this already publicly. So
sure. Okay.
This is not going to be a specific spoiler, but it's going to be. You might look at Man of Steel. If you were critical of Man of Steel, you might look at it a little differently after this.
Yes. Yes, because yes, I man, I don't want to.
We'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we talked before the stream, and I do think this movie will be divisive.
Oh, sure.
Super divisive because, you know, just because of the first half just being like, you know, Ezra Miller just, you know, once you get to that second half, it becomes the movie like, that I wanted.
Like Tom Holland and Zendaya fake MJ were not my favorite things from Spider-Man, believe it or not.
Right.
Okay. But they're not anywhere near as annoying as Ezra. I mean, it all depends on the writing too. But like Tom Holland and Zendaya were better in No Way Home than they were in any previous Spider-Man movie by far. But still, you know, the first third of No Way Home kind of drags. It does. Yeah.
You're not wrong, Garrett. It's I would agree 100%. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Zendaya. I don't know why people like her. I mean,
I don't either. Yeah, but she looks like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah,
that's a little weird to me.
That's why I'm worried about Dune 2 Part 2 because her character Chani plays a big part,
huge part. Role. Yes.
I don't know if she has the acting chops.
Well, I know that from the David Lynch Dune, not from the book. Okay, so
yeah. Well, I know it from the book, but I mean, if they intend to have her have a big role, I just don't think she has the acting chops. Timothée Chalamet, he can act. I mean, I've seen him he was in this like a movie where he played a drug addict. Was an Amazon film from years ago. I can't remember the name. But it was based on a true story. He was very good in that as a drug addict. He was fucking awesome. Timothée Chalamet can legit act. Zendaya, haven't seen it. But boy, that second half of the movie, once it gets to that second half, it is just
Timothée Chalamet, straight Ezra Miller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. He has dated women.
Yes.
But what's weird is technically
that's all he is.
Technically speaking, you can refer to the two Barrys as they.
I know. Oh God, that's not going to help.
Imagine if they did a press tour with Ezra Miller, knowing what we know now, what this movie is, knowing that Ezra Miller probably doesn't give a fuck, and it's probably not.
They haven't.
Much after this.
I mean, the movie comes out. It's not that far off.
It's 3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks, and they have not done a press tour that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat.
I don't know.
Have they interviewed Ezra Miller? I would just roll out Michael Keaton for I mean, like if I was the PR for Warner Brothers, it'd be just Michael Keaton. That's all. That's all you need. Maybe the director. The director and Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is so good. You're reminded why he was like so good in that role. He just freaking nails it. And it's a broken Batman. It's Batman.
Oh God.
That's but a Batman that's like once he puts this, he's freaking full Batman.
That's awesome.
It's and it's implied that things have occurred between the time we last saw him and where we are, because there's no Alfred. There's no Alfred.
Well, yeah. He was pretty old.
Yeah. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And,
yeah. We should leave
anything
that alone.
else you want to know, I'll answer the question. But that the second half of the movie is going to.
You said the second half gets much better. Like it just moves better and it becomes like a real superhero. You also said that this is the most, and this is not a compliment, buddy. You said it's the most Marvel of DC movies.
Yeah, it is. It is the most Marvel of DC movies. No, but when Marvel was good.
Okay.
I'm not talking about recent Marvel. Recent Marvel.
You need to make that distinction now, buddy. Because
that's true.
If you look at the amount of content that we've gotten from Disney, Marvel, including Paramount, I haven't counted yet, but I'm pretty sure they've surpassed the amount of stuff that they've made, counting movies and TV shows, in phase 4 and the beginning of phase 5 than they did in the first 3 phases. Again, I could be wrong, but they have to get real close because they weren't making that much. They were making 3 movies a year at the max, mostly 2 before that. And they just pumped out in 1 year, like 17 projects. So they have to be getting close. We'll just say they're getting close. Maybe it's 1 or 2 off, but you have to make that distinction now. Is it pre-Endgame or post-Endgame?
Right. Well, it's pre-Endgame, but it's also a good mix of comedy, drama, stakes, real stakes. And I think after this, DC will not revisit multiverse stories. Multiverse and time travel F's things up, because what you can do is you can just fix any problem. And this movie really leans right into that of in terms of I don't think the future DC films and the DC universe will deal with any time travel or multiverse stories at all. We're going to land in a particular universe and
stay there.
That's where we are. Yeah.
Stay there. And it can also just explain everything else. So to say that, that's what they did in the comics. They wanted to reset everything. Right. But they wanted to try to go, well, the stuff you read still counted. Okay. It just we're moving to a different universe. Problem is, it didn't work for everybody. But I'll say Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 80s worked for me for a lot of reasons. I think they kind of needed to do it. But it also led to horrible things later when they started resetting their universe over and over again. And that's the trap you get into with this. And that's why I agree. They should the thing is, here's the problem though. They still got the Matt Reeves Batman, which is in another world. So those, as long as they never meet, that's fine. But I think they gave Matt Reeves one more movie just to save face. That's what I think. The movie did good enough to earn a sequel. Definitely did good enough to earn a sequel. But it didn't light the world on fire. So it's let's give him another movie and move on to another Batman.
Yeah, it's here's the problem though. Okay, so the screening that I saw.
Yeah.
Saw the end of the film, the climax, everything resolved. Barry is back in his universe. Should I continue with this? What we talked about? Okay.
Yeah, because you didn't see anything, so you can't spoil anything.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, they cut off. Yeah, go on.
So Barry is back. Everything's back to quote normal. He gets a call from Bruce Wayne. He's going to meet Barry. A car rolls up. Bruce Wayne is about to come out of the car. You see a foot. The lights come on in the movie theater.
They ended the movie, which I think is really smart on their part, to be honest with you.
No credits. It just, the lights came on and we're like, wait, what? So there's, you know,
That's
I
happened
don't know what
before.
happens. They could put anyone in there. It could be Christian Bale. It could be anybody. So
If it was Christian Bale, that would be pretty fucking cool. I admit that would be honestly, I'd be happy. I mean, Ben Affleck would be kind of the obvious choice. But I guess it could be Adam. It could be freaking anybody. It could be any Batman whatsoever. It could be anybody. So,
but is this, and then
is it going to be the new Batman? That's the question. No, it's not. I don't think so.
That's the thing. It could be whoever the new Batman that's being cast in Brave and the Bold, the James Gunn produced film as part of the new DC universe. I don't know. So we didn't see it. And then is there going to be a mid-credit scene, a post-credit scene? Like obviously there's a lot they can do in that chunk. And I mean, look, there's 3 weeks until this movie opens. They shot a scene for the Avengers a week, like after the world premiere. And before it opened in theaters, they shot an additional scene that they just added a week before the movie. So it is entirely possible they could be in the casting phase for a new Batman, and this could be whoever the new Batman is in the DC universe.
And all the Superman casting rumors is obfuscating all the Batman. Like, that'd be funny. That'd be pretty funny if they did that.
It would be weird, but what I'm telling you is I can't answer this question because I didn't see it. So I'm going to guess that the version of the movie that you see on the 12th, Gary, you'll know the answers to those questions.
Yep.
I don't know why they would show an incomplete version of you. I get that it's like 3 weeks before the movie, they're going to show an incomplete. The one thing that did strike me, and I saw it with my friend who saw the test screening over a year ago, he said the digital effects in this have not been upgraded from the test screening that he saw.
Oh,
and they're not great.
Now, did the director come out and say, because you said the director was at the screening, correct?
Did.
Okay. Did he come out and say these are unfinished?
He was not at the screening, but they showed a video of him with his sister, who's the producer, and she said, or that he said that like these, the movie's not finished, the effects aren't finished. So it is possible that there'll be improved effects. But yeah, like there are a couple scenes where you're just like,
they looked really rubbery in the trailer. Like they look like Gumbies fighting each other. So that's going to be, I hope, they got to fix that.
But I don't know. I feel like almost like Hollywood doesn't care. It's like, wait, more money to make it look better. Why does that matter? So, but I will say this, at the end of the day, my final takeaway of this thing is I want to see it again. I was there you go. I got news for you. It's very entertaining. Once you get past the first hour, like it's like that, like you pointed out with No Way Home, like the first chunk of that movie is, let's get to the good part. And then once it gets to the good, then it's on. And that's the same thing here. And it doesn't, it ends in a way that you could look at the ending of this movie as being very dark and depressing. So that's why I think that I've seen some other people talk about it. And yeah, I can see people having two takeaways. I do think that new ending, whatever the ending they put on it, that's going to probably change people's perception, but I didn't see it. So
yeah. There's, I can't say, I don't want to say anything.
Well, ask me anything. I mean,
Well, they need to fix this. I mean, like, my question will be probably for afterwards.
The thing is, does the universe that Barry Allen lands in, is it the universe that James Gunn is going forward?
James, does anybody have a quote where James Gunn said this resets the universe? I think that was a lot of assumptions from a lot of people. And it would have been a good assumption. It would have been a great opportunity, except there's a movie that comes out after this. Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman too.
So I think that kind of ruins it. I think if they had released Aquaman first and then Flash, which is essentially their really cheapo version of Flashpoint, last, that would have made sense. But the fact that we're getting an Aquaman movie after this, and they had every opportunity to get rid of Amber Turd, and they didn't, I think kind of says it all. I don't know anything about that though, because I heard one version of the ending, but they could. I think they've probably changed that. That would be my guess. That would be my guess because I can't say anything else. Let's just say, should I say it? I heard, fuck it, I'll say it. This is my fault, by the way. I heard one version of the ending. I heard one version, not telling you who shows up at the end, but there's a movie that got canceled. There's a movie that got canceled outright that we all know also had Michael Keaton in it called Batgirl. So I think they've changed things. That would be my guess.
Oh, right.
That would be my guess.
Wow.
But they've reshot this movie a bunch. Like a bunch. That's why it is so expensive. But hey, it can make $1 billion and make Warner Brothers $10. And good. I don't think it's got 2 weeks, right? It comes out on the 16th, right? Let's get the date right. So it comes out on, there's a screening on the 12th, which are probably, it's an IMAX screening that's sold out probably everywhere now. Go check in your area. I took a shitty IMAX seat just to see it. Like I'll have neck problems when I'm done. It comes out on the 15th or 14th. I think there's screenings on the 14th or 15th, something like that. And then Indiana Jones flops 2 weeks after that. I'm sorry, releases. My bad. And that will be a serious competition for it. Would it hurt it? Would it keep it from making $1 billion? Time will tell. I'm not really sure. I think nostalgia for Michael Keaton's Batman, I can't believe I'm saying this, far outshines nostalgia for Harrison Ford at 80 returning to Indiana Jones, which is, good God. It's unbelievable to say. It's unbelievable to say. But they had a movie come out at the same time a long time ago. They did. Right? 89 Batman and Last Crusade was 89.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Michael Keaton is Batman in this. I want to go see it again just for that. And I might go see it a third time, but I would walk in an hour late.
But you're definitely going to see it a second time.
The first
now,
part.
100%. Well, I need to see it because I don't know what happens at the...
Okay, if you knew what happened at the end, let's just say it was satisfying. Would you go see it again?
Actually, I would. Okay. Because it's entertaining. And it's God, I kind of don't want to say, I want to say, and I don't want to say, we kind of talked about earlier. Let's just say outcomes for certain multiverse Earths, some are good and some are not. And you know.
Oh, what we could say without being specific.
Yes.
Lots of cameos.
Oh, a lot. Like there are a lot. You know when there were like rumored cameos for Multiverse of Madness?
Yep.
And then there were zero?
Yep.
Like they're gonna have Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Yeah, this one goes nuts. It's the thing you could just dude, I'm freaking out at I'm not gonna say any specific cameos. All I'll just say is you are gonna have a DC boner when you when you're watching this, because it was worth it to say that just for the look on X-Ray Girl's face. If you're just a DC fan of TV and movies in the DC realm, you're going to go freaking nuts. Movies from DC that were never even made. I'm just telling you, be prepared. And you're gonna God, I saw it in IMAX. I was in the first row. I literally was just looking across the screen because there are a couple scenes where just so much is happening on screen at once. You cannot see all of it. Like people will have a field day when this comes out on digital or Blu-ray because you're gonna have to like freeze frame to catch it all. It's freaking great. I mean, a lot of it is focused on, so you see like the big ones, but I know that I missed a few. I'm 100% certain I missed a few because so much is happening at once. In sort of a multiverse where there's like a multiverse. It's represented by like kind of like crystal balls in a way. I guess the best way to describe it, like crystal balls with like a lot of shit. It's like those are multiverses, and holy shit, Gary. It's awesome. It's just awesome.
It's got some
plenty of opportunities to go to the bathroom in the first hour, but don't hit the bathroom in the last hour 20. That's it. So
there you go.
Okay, plan your bathroom breaks. Got it.
Yeah, well, I always have to think about that with myself, but
I am highly trained. I do not go to the bathroom in the middle of movies anymore. I used to be a delivery driver, and I'd be stuck in traffic, and you just it's mind over matter on that one.
Oh, God, I have a bladder of a pregnant woman.
I tell you, that's not good. I took a road trip with a pregnant woman once. We were stopping every freaking 20 minutes, dude.
Dude,
it took us 12 hours to take like a 7-hour drive.
That's how I found out I had one kidney. When my then wife was pregnant. I peed more than she did, and then I got an ultrasound, and it's like I have one kidney.
What did someone steal one from you before you were born?
You're just born with one kidney.
No, the guy who did the ultrasound made a joke like that, but he asked me if I'd ever been to Mexico, and I told him no. It's funny, but yeah. So people look. If you sort of, the movie is fun in the way that No Way Home is fun. It definitely has that, but it's the second half of the movie that is where that fun is.
Okay, any woke BS, girl boss, intersexual feminism?
Nah, none of that. Even like Supergirl, you think she's coming in as a girl boss. No, Zod is a threat. I'll just say this: Zod is it's nothing.
Well,
Like
Zod is supposed
to
be a threat. Zod is a Kryptonian who, unlike Superman when he arrived on Earth, knows how to fight. He's a warrior. He is a general. Like he's badass, you know. So
yeah,
in the realm of the DCEU and DC movies. Okay.
But I know these days people tend to be, I think people are maybe a little oversensitive, and with good reason, because so much stuff is garbage. I mean, that Indiana Jones movie looks like horrible, even worse than we initially thought. You know, the fact that like Indiana Jones is so emasculated by freaking annoying
dude, when corporate critics are coming out and saying he is emasculated in his own movie, that like, whoa, it must be horribly bad. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a critical darling. They fucking love her. They love Fleabag, which I've noticed. I don't know what the appeal is of that woman. I don't know. I agree with was it Az or Critical Drinker? Sorry, Critical Drinker. It's like, I don't know what the appeal is. That I think you just try to export your worst. UK. I'm starting to catch on to you with James Corden, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm seeing a pattern here. Okay, F you. Sorry, we kicked your ass out, and now they're getting their revenge. And
no,
it's
it was
working.
probably because of Meghan Markle. She moved there, and then they're like, "Please take."
She's Canadian. She's Canadian, so that's the whole War of 1812. You guys got to work that stuff about amongst yourselves, but right? Isn't Meghan Markle Canadian?
No, she's American.
She's American, but I think she was here for.
I ain't claiming her. She's Canadian in my head canon.
Yeah,
Britain's whole is Canada.
Yeah, but I can't wait. To me, FNT after the Flash is going to be epic. It'll be a very special FNT. 50 from Let's Go Brandon.
50. Let's Go Brandon. He says, I need a favor. Everyone look up the Lincoln Kane live stream and just hit the like button. Don't leave here, but pop in the new tab. And this man is going to even be more hammered, which will be fun. Okay.
Is he drinking like a drink every
So you want
time
somebody to like another live stream? Thanks for the $50. I love the chat.
Oh my God.
They're like, they're watching 3 live streams at once. It's like, I do that shit all the time. I was watching my wife. I was watching Skinwalker Ranch and Tuesday Night's Main Event at the same time, and yes, I can do it.
Oh, dude, I've done that. I had like 2 live streams open.
I had a live stream on my phone, and I'm watching the TV show, and I just kind of, pop back and forth. Once they start talking about, Super Mario. Hey, if you love it, that's great. I went to Skinwalker Ranch. When they started talking about other stuff, I went back to when Skinwalker Ranch started talking about purple lights. I went back to Tuesday Night's Main Event. It's fine. It's like I can do it.
Oh my God, I'm looking at this guy. He's drinking a beer and has a bottle of Bailey's, and it looks like some French fries.
So every he takes a shot or something like that?
And he's smoking. Oh my God, he's filled in a room of monitors. I have no idea who this guy is. I will check out that
A man of sin.
Well, there'll always be a seat waiting for him at an AA meeting near him.
Yes.
If you want to promote that, that's fine. That's fine. All right, let's go, Brandon. Thank you for the $50. We appreciate it, brother. All right. So you're going to give, are you recommending The Flash?
Yes. Knowing that the first hour is going to be, once you get to Batman, it's a movie. Before that, it's Ezra Miller. And then there's a lot of other nitpicks. Like the woman who plays his mom, I don't know if she's Italian or Spanish, but she's not. She has a very thick accent.
I saw Alan giving you a crap about this, but like, does Ezra Miller look weird. Italian to you?
No, but what I'm saying is, so she's like there's a big, this is like a plot point of getting tomato paste, and tomatoes is like a big part of the movie. It's from the beginning and to the end, and I don't want to go into it. It's too long to just watch it. But like there's a whole thing about a tomato paste can from the grocery store, and it's a huge deal. And so I just assumed she was Italian because she had this thick accent, and she's making a spaghetti and a pasta sauce. And it's just like so.
What you talking about? The berry, come over there, get some lunch.
And I always like whenever I look at like castings like that don't seem to make sense, I'm like, oh, that's the executive producer's girlfriend. Like this happens so often in movies, you would be shocked how often it's.
You mean like Jimmy Kimmel's nephew ending up in Mandalorian?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just, or Jimmy Kimmel's son or whatever. It's just like, oh, it's a favor casting. Screw like, or like so-and-so playing a stormtrooper.
Neil Gaiman just did that with Good Omens. Did you hear? He had to
Oh, really?
Yeah, Peter Davison and then David Tennant's son were both cast in. That's the Fifth Doctor, by the way. And yes. David Tennant's married to his daughter in real life. That's a cat. I don't have a problem with that casting, to be honest with you. It's kind of a legend, but yeah, you're right. And they recast Dad, right?
They recast Dad. It's fine. Isn't
it the guy from Office Space?
Yeah, it's guy from Office Space. The lead from Office Space.
One of the greatest.
I love that guy's great.
One of the greatest movies ever made. Awesome. One of the greatest movies ever made.
So good. And it holds up now. Holds up even better now.
So we got some questions. How much of this film is held up by Michael Keaton's charisma acting? Is it worth watching to see his performance or nostalgic bait? From Jamie G. Voltaic Blood for $5. That's a very good question, Chris. I think you kind of addressed it, but you can answer it again.
Yeah, it's Michael Keaton just goes for it. He's just great. Like he's just full 89 Batman. Like, and now using today's technology, you've got much better fight choreography. The way that like his cape is this, like an instant glider. He's got like, you see like, the old Batmobile, the Bat plane. Oh God, it's really good. I can't wait to see it again. I just want to see that last hour and 20 minutes again. It's I can't wait.
You didn't get tickets for the 12th? I'm sure you can.
No, I tried 100% sold out.
Well, LA. Yeah, that's,
Right. 100. Now I might try to get tickets day of because sometimes people cancel their tickets, but I think it'll be impossible to get tickets to that. But my God, that's why I think this movie is going to do so well. It's got that Spider-Man No Way Home energy, right? Like,
well, dude, it's sold out like giant IMAX theaters in hours for that special preview, and then you can go take a look at the tickets that they're on presale already, and they're filling up pretty much.
Well, there's that third trailer. I don't know if there's that much new in the trailer. I don't think there's that much, except for like this QR code that they want you to like. Basically, it's just data collection, which I'm like, whatever. Collect my data.
Yeah.
What do you
And
text
Warner
me?
Brothers is still like lame about trailers. Like we show them, and I don't feel like giving them any money today. But especially after their bold move of turning HBO into Max, which is just stupid. So
Didn't
dumb.
it crash on day? I haven't even checked it out yet.
It crashed on day one. It's fine now. It's fine. Yeah, and all it is like merging Discovery Plus into HBO, which they should have just called HBO. But the Discovery Plus stuff like does really well. It just does.
So all the garbage I would never watch on Discovery is there. That sounds great.
There. That's what I heard. Yeah.
I don't care about anything that Discovery has. So
I don't either. But people watch the shit out of it. They do. And it's really cheap to make, especially during a writer's strike. So Doctor Who 32 for $30 says it's time for a Nooner. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Very excited about this. Sorry we had to start it a little early today. I've got a super secret project that gets started today. That's the reason it's starting early. That's all I'm going to say. It's probably the only time I'll even talk about it. Super secret project starts today. It's going to be a process. It's going to take about a year, you think, Chris?
At least I'll say this. I know what the project is. You shouldn't tell anyone about it until it's done and you have something to show. I'm so excited for you because I was telling you should be doing this.
Well, it's your fault. The reason I'm doing this is your fault. So that's why I wanted the public to know. It's Chris's fault.
Blame Chris.
Blame Chris.
Blame me. I'm fine. I'll take the blame.
It's Chris inspired this whole thing. So,
but dude, you should just not tell anyone.
It starts today. Tell you about it in about a year. Anakmamon on the Streamlabs side, 5 parts for $55. You ready? Here we go. Seeing as how the film was reshot as much as 5 times, depending on the source, Gal Gadot wasn't in it until Zaslav took over. I think that's true. I mean, I'm not doubting you, Anakmamon. I do not keep track of scoopers. I think scoopers, if you're like, listen, before we even get into this, if you're into rumors, totally cool. We talked about every stupid rumor in the comic shop every day. So there's no shame in it. Just keep in mind that 99.9% of them are total bullshit. But it's fun. It's fun to talk about still, as long as because sometimes, rarely, a rumor can actually lead to something happening later because people are so down with it. They get so popular. So yeah, rumor away. But depending on the source, Gal Gadot wasn't in it until Zaslav took over. Here's my theory. The Miller ass shots were because of Sarnoff Hamada. That wouldn't surprise me at all. They were Sarnoff especially was fucking retarded. Okay. Just flat out a terrible, terrible leader. Hamada is good for the lower budget horror stuff and other stuff. He's got his strengths, but superheroes weren't one of them. And all of a sudden he also had a massive ego. And let's not forget Toby Emmerich, who is a complete dumbass. The lady, could you highlight it again? I wasn't finished with that one, X-Ray Girl. The lady is where, okay. The lady ones? I wonder what he means there.
I don't know.
The lady ones were because of Zaslav. So the ass shots? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Well, basically Barry's other Barry, young noob Barry, is naked for a brief period. By brief, far too long for me. And I'm in a room of basically 4th grade kids. So I literally 160 seats in this screen. There were 6 of us that made it in. It was all families. I don't know what the deal was. They were inviting groups of people. What I think what they were doing is like getting these groups as a way to spread word of mouth. Because who knows what kind of marketing budget this movie has. They must have said, look, we don't have a big budget for this. Word of mouth screenings are the cheapest way to do it. You think they're losing on a lot of money by screening it for free? They're not. They're helping spread the word. But I felt the demographic was way too young for this film. It's a tween or teen and above. This is not for 8-year-olds because they were squirming in the film, and they don't get the nostalgia aspect of Michael Keaton either.
Yeah. Unless it's freaking Spider-Man, don't take your 8-year-old. Just don't. The director probably asked, I'm an ass man. Can I have some ass shots in the film? Sarnoff responded, as long as they're Ezra's, but not a woman's. The male gaze is too toxic, and we do not want him to be the face of the DCU. Not that toxic Henry Cavill. Many years later, the director was asked the same question by Zaslav. Responded, why do you think we brought Godot? Why do you think we asked Godot to come back? I have Miller shots too. Can we delete them? Not without reshoots. Shit. Okay, linger on the women. That'll balance out the queer. That's what he says. I'm reading, but it's true. Regardless, I'm not seeing this movie. Ezra is evil and Gunn fired Cavill. Godot and Affleck. That was not a fan attack on par with anything Lucasfilm did. The hiring of Tom King and the bitches who wrote BOP, Watchmen, etc. Watchmen, particularly one of the women who wrote the Watchmen TV series is there, says this is DOA. I'm done.
Wow.
Another personal theory, Gunn has done everything behind Zaslav's back. Zaslav spent a year hyping up DC, said it was his main focus. He hired Cavill, Affleck, and Godot due to fan demand, said they were the Trinity. Gunn fired them and announced the reboot. Zaslav has downplayed DC and hyped Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings instead. Gunn's co-head is Peter Safran. Safran worked with Sarnoff. They spent a year sabotaging AT&T's plan, i.e. attacking the Snyder Cut. I've made a whole video on James Gunn that you can go when he made his little announcement. I don't think he has the chops to do Superman. I could be wrong. I could be proved wrong, and I'd be happy to say I'm wrong. I do not think he has the chops to do Superman. You got to have chops to do Superman. Having Tom King in your writer's room is a horrible red flag. Announcing the Authority in your first chapter is a horrible red flag. The Authority is a very mid-2000s book when everybody was doing, here is a really fucked up version of the Justice League. Kind of like, here's another bad Superman. It was a trope that was interesting at the time, but it kind of, there was just so many of them. People just kind of went, all right, enough. And it was just more deconstruction of the superhero, which I think had been deconstructed beyond repair. And instead of focusing on reconstructing the superhero, I'm seeing like All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman's a fun comic book. Flash told me to go see the animated movie on 4K. I did. I freaking loved it. I don't think you start with that. I don't think you start with that premise, with that theme at all. At all. That's not what you start Superman. If you want to know where to start Superman, you go to Donner. You go to the comic books. You go to the Golden Age, even the Silver Age, if you want to know where to start Superman. And just make him a hero. Try to remember what that is, Hollywood, what a hero is. I am of the belief that many in Hollywood, Chris, have no clue what that really means. It's so antithetical to all of their beliefs, their belief system, that just America's bad, the world's bad. Everything's bad. Everything supports white supremacy. And there's no better symbol of that than Superman. I just don't think they can do it.
There is not a common morality that we all agree to, that we agree that this represents good, this represents evil. That is actually something that's questioned now, which is surprising that, I feel like we're at this time when you look at, like, I think the best thing for a Superman movie to do now, if it was to be made today, would be to resist modernity 100% in the way that, like, the other movie that did this, that stood out, that became one of the biggest movies and franchises of all time, was Star Wars. The time in which Star Wars was made in the early 70s, that's because Lucas worked on it for years, the early 70s to its final release, in May 1977, it was the complete antithesis of everything that was coming out at that time. I mean, everything was dark and dour and depressing, and we'd just gotten through Vietnam and Nixon, and people were just down on this country. And here comes a hope space opera, fairy tale, whatever, for kids with a princess and basically a farm boy and a trucker. And it resists everything and just tells a fun story. If anyone were to do that now, it would be huge. But every freaking film has got to be dark and this, and women can't be sexy even.
Oh, we're very much in a repeat of the 70s, dude.
Yeah, we are.
Like, we are in a 70s rerun right now, without disco and without the music isn't as good. But and quite frankly, neither of the films. But you're right. What did the freaking first teaser posters for Superman say on them? You will believe a man can fly.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's very hopeful. Little S going, and that's what James Gunn needs. Not Grant Morrison. Again, I enjoyed the Grant Morrison comic books. They fit for their time. This is like years into Batman's lore, years into Superman's lore. So trying different things is fine, but you're restarting from scratch. And the one thing this got talked about on Real BBC, Batman Brave and the Bold. So you know what that comic was? Mm-mm. It was a goofy team-up comic that did not take place in the main universe. It was Earth B, and it was named after the writer, who was such a wacko because he didn't give a fuck about continuity. So Batman was with characters who were dead. Like, he wasn't acting like Batman at all. Had great Jim Aparo art. And the cartoon, which was great, did the same thing. It was like, here's kind of a goofy, fun Batman. But it's not Batman. But it's not like, and I love Brave and the Bold cartoon. I actually adore that cartoon. I think it's fantastic. It's like super deep cut if you're a DC fan. It's just like, it's like jazz for DC, music for musicians. It's DC for DC fans just to have fun. But nobody's going to ever think Brave and the Bold is on the level of the animated series, which is definitive Batman, which is really good Batman. And the only thing that moves, that reflects the Batman from the comic book, because as much as I love Keaton, I even like Val Kilmer as Batman in a bad movie. As much as I like The Dark Knight and Batman Begins, as much as I like Ben Affleck in the Batman costume, we have not seen the comic book Batman on screen yet. Nothing even close.
Yeah.
Or the Batman.
Glimpses, but not...
Moments, sure. Mm-hmm. But we've never seen a beginning to end, this is the Batman from the comic books. Now, you could say that about Spider-Man movies. You can. Even the Tobey, the only thing missing from the Tobey movies was when Spider-Man fights, he's talking shit all the time. So they did that in the Garfield stuff. But, Tobey Spider-Man with Raimi captured the spirit of the comic book Spider-Man. And we haven't even done, Batman is always grounded. And I would say the closest one to the comic book would be the guy who didn't read any of the damn comic books, which was Burton. Made it kind of a fantasy world, made Gotham a character. That's the kind of shit you need to do. But that costume, man, it was all black. That bugged me. That bugged me for so long. You don't have no idea. I'm like, well, they got the bat symbol right, but why is it all black? It's not Batman. Hi, all. I finally watched Umbrella Academy on Gary's recommendation and loved it. It got a little less good as it went. Yeah, season 1's good. I would just end there. Wondering if you would have thoughts on the final season about to air. Only 6 episodes. Is it going to suck? Probably.
Definitely.
Probably. And what happened, what's sad about that, Mr. Z, for 1999 is the guy who wrote it's actually really good. But this is the woke mind virus. And this is how it affects even talented people. And they took, I'm a fan of the comic books. I thought it was really fun. But they just leaned so heavy into the identity politics instead of the fantastical time traveling wacky story of this basically X-Men team. They fucked it up. They fucked it up. But season 1 is really good. But that's a Netflix thing now, isn't it? Aside from Stranger Things, which kind of bucked the trend, with season 4, by the way, not 2 or 3, it's kind of a thing with them that they make on their own. They, and Cobra Kai's not theirs. They bought it, remember. They make a really good season 1, and that's about it. They lose the plot afterwards because they don't know how to make TV. They don't know how to produce things. They don't know how to produce things. Yeah, they'll probably go back to licensing stuff once this streaming war is over, and Paramount and Sony and whoever wants to dip out will start making their shit for Netflix again. Max Power for $20. Don't disparage my Discovery Plus subscription. Where else can I watch Cutthroat Kitchen and Naked and Afraid? Hey, listen, I'm no better. I am no better. So real quick, I just want to get your thoughts on this article, Chris. This article, like we're going to have to go in depth on this, and I'm actually going to go in depth on a video.
I watch all your videos, man.
Thanks, brother.
They're great. They're like mini documentaries.
We used to treat movie stars like gods. Hollywood grapples with the loss of young star power. Well, you know what happened? It was a combination of a lot of things, but social media.
Yeah.
And the movie stars went to social media, and we got to know them. And they stopped being movie stars. End of story.
Yeah.
And now, kids don't want to be movie stars. For one, it requires work to actually be a good actor. And it's a lot. And honestly, why go through the horrors and terrors that you have to go through in Hollywood, especially if you're a kid star? I think a lot more parents are wising up. I mean, I've said this a million times on the live stream, not a million, say hundreds. If you love your children, do not let them act in Hollywood. Do not. Don't let them near that fucking place. They want to go there as adults, fine. But if mine were under my care, no effing way. No effing way. No way. It's a meat grinder. It's an absolute meat grinder. Look what it does to the adults. Look what it does to the adults. But yeah, there's a finite amount of talent in the world, and if something else comes along where that talent can go, that's where they'll go. That's where they'll go, and it's not Hollywood anymore. As far as for acting and performing and singing, you could just do that shit in your own now. You don't need, there's like 1,000 gatekeepers you got to go through in Hollywood. Not anymore. Now you can just do your own shit. And it's starting to fracture. And I think this is great. This is decentralizing entertainment. And I think it's a good thing. And yeah, they're going to grapple with it. Now, I guess the whole frame of this article is like everybody was fawning over Harrison Ford at Cannes. It's like, yeah, well, you also made too many superhero movies. You made it more about the character than and the movie star has been dying for a long time, Chris. Let's be real. This isn't a relatively new thing. It's been a decade, at least. And we just are kind of starting to notice it now. Tom Cruise is probably one of the last ones. Will Smith, Not so much. He like even before the slap, he was like losing his luster. The Rock was never a movie star. You know who else wasn't a movie star, Chris? Simu
Who?
Liu. Simu Liu has never been a movie star. Simu Liu is not a movie star. The hottest package at this year's Cannes Film Festival stars a 76-year-old star and is a reboot of a movie that first dazzled moviegoers in 1993. That's a time, in case you forgot, before TikTok or smartphones, Facebook or Amazon, or any number of technological changes that have reshaped our world and the movie business along with them. And yet, Cliffhanger, with Sylvester Stallone bravely submitting the mountain again, is what? Wait a minute. There's another Cliffhanger movie? Is that what they're talking about?
There you go.
That's awesome. Bravely submitting the mountain again is seen as the most commercial scripts out there for buyers hoping to make an adventure film that can traverse. Hey, Tulsa King Rock, dude. Borders and bring crowds with a nod to the younger audience who will be needed to turn up if the movie is going to replicate the original blockbuster status. God, I remember it. That was I was working in the video store. I was back in my video store days, and I remember renting Cliffhanger to 73-year-old women in San Marcos, California. I was right near a retirement community, so I got all the old people. You know, it was fine. It was great. And a presumably younger Sly. So they go over this. They're talking about Schwarzenegger coming in, Expendables 4. That he's also doing somebody mentioned in what's the name of the thing he's coming out on Netflix? Did you know he's coming out with a show? Hang on.
I don't know.
What's the name of the show, chat? I just saw it, and it looks like he's passing the mantle to the far more capable daughter. Because we haven't fucking seen that 1,000 times before. Yeah. And they're talking about Michael Keaton. They're talking about all these other people. And then they bring up how Pattinson's not, the big star that they thought he'd be. And, I'll go over it more in depth. But your thoughts real quick, Chris.
The movie stars are dead. Harrison Ford may be the last one. There are some, is Leonardo DiCaprio a movie star? I mean, maybe.
I'd say so.
I'd say so. Brad Pitt. But it's
is Killers of the Flower Moon or the Moonflower gonna make hundreds of millions at the box office though?
Nope.
A 3.5-hour Martin Scorsese film
that's made to win Oscars.
Yes.
Apple wants another Oscar. The one thing that is positive about that film is it's going to get at least a wide theatrical release, and they're kind of, the Academy is finally saying, look, we can't have movies that no one has heard of. Not only has no one heard of, but they're not opening in theaters. You're killing the theatrical release. So, and I actually like that trailer. I think that movie could be really good, but it's 4 hours or something. So
sorry, I'll just read about it, the historical events and the tragedy and the horror of the historical events. I'm not going to sit 3.5 hours of
right. I'd rather see a documentary than.
Look at how effed up we used to be in the past, and it's still the same way now. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Why not just go have fun? I'm sure it'll be fine. Martin Scorsese's awesome. He's great. But no thanks. Not my kind of movie. I'll go see Sisu. You can see Sisu two times? 2 times.
Or 3.
Or almost 3.
Yeah.
By the way, just want to point out again, that cost 6 million euros to make.
It's so cheap in the grand scheme of things.
It really is. Patrick Stewart by himself got paid that much for 6 episodes of Picard.
Brings so much more entertainment, I guess.
And that was the first season. Tom Hanks still a movie star?
What's the last thing he even did? I don't even know.
Okay, movie star is they put butts in seats, not win awards, not a circle jerk. They put butts in seats, and it's just their name. They can be in any movie because that's the way it used to be. It's the way it used to be. We're going to go see a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. We're going to see a Sylvester Stallone movie. Tom Cruise is it. I think Tom Cruise is it. I think Mission Impossible is going to make all kinds of. It could be highest grossing movie of the year. Could be maybe second behind Super Mario. Or Flash. You don't know. You don't know what's up, Yellow Flash. I think Flash will make a lot of money. I think it will make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to do well.
Yeah.
I think it's because the one thing about this film is it's also a crowd pleaser. It's a popcorn movie. I mean, there are like so many moments where mostly in the second half of the film, you're just going to scream and applaud. And there are lines like it's a crowd pleaser. The film is a crowd pleaser. And I think on that alone, it's going to do well because Little Mermaid looks bad. I mean, just like
Alan
so
did not have nice things to say about it.
Yeah, and he's the target market, you know. I mean, he saw a preview of it at D23. Then you've got like Spider-Verse, which looks fine. The Transformers.
I can't wait to see pregnant Spider-Woman fight. 5 months pregnant.
Oh my God. You know what? It's a cartoon, so I don't care. I really don't care. Spider-Verse, you know, I'll see it. I
didn't hate the first movie. I liked it.
It was fun. You've got the Transformers movie is coming out and nobody cares about that. Ticket sales for that are soft. I feel like that franchise may be done. Why do I care? It's another, you know, Transformers on Earth. Why don't they just do a Transformers movie with no humans? Have it take place.
This was the easiest one to crack. Like, don't focus on effing humans. You can have one, I guess, but just go full retro. Make them look like they did in the comic books. That's all you need to do. That's all you effing need to do. But no, it's got to be identity politics. And yeah, okay, well, welcome to Oblivion.
Ridiculous.
Along with welcome to the void of dead franchises, along with Star Wars and Star Trek and
then
Doctor
you've got
Who.
the worst calculation, strategic calculation. I mean, that seems to be Kathleen Kennedy's specialty. Not reuniting Han, Luke, and Leia.
She doesn't analyze things, Chris. She just does them.
You open Indiana Jones at Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival, and it gets soft mixed to negative reviews, and now people have 6 weeks to not give a shit about it. Like, who in their right mind is good? I think it'll do a decent opening weekend and then no one will care.
Yep.
Because the curiosity factor is going to be there. But my God, if you were going to open in a Cannes, it should have opened 2 weeks after that. 6 weeks? What a stupid miscalculation.
6 weeks, and now embargo's lifted. So if anybody else sees it early, they can give a review to a full review with spoilers and everything. So, yeah. And yeah, you're right. Like 40 days of bad reviews. What a dumb move.
Just digging their grave.
Is there more of a Kathleen Kennedy move than that? Yeah. I don't think so.
Or like announcing movies that never happen.
Oh, well, you know? She keeps like doing that.
Ray movie.
I hope it happens. I really do.
Did you hear the new rumor? I was watching Geeks and Gamers in the morning. For some reason, Ryan Cannell was paired with Jay, Drunk 3PO. So I don't know why Jeremy wasn't there, but apparently this was thrown out there. And my feeling is a lot of these quote rumors are actually created by Lucasfilm.
I think some of them are.
What fans think. So the rumor is that both Hayden Christensen and Mark Hamill will be Force ghosts in her film.
That wouldn't surprise me. It would just not surprise me. Don't care. Don't care. No, the fans have known for years what she will eventually find out, what Disney will eventually find. These are giant megalithic corporations who do not turn on a dime. And this is the problem with corporatism in Hollywood. They've allowed too many of the activists in, and they don't listen to fan bases because they have really drank the Kool-Aid that they're all a bunch of bigots. So it'll be very hard for them to admit in a couple, 3 years, maybe 5, that they killed Star Wars with The Last Jedi. Something we knew the minute we walked out of that fucking movie. We're like, it's dead. It's dead. It's dead. Because I'm the one, along with you, along with Jeremy and Ryan, that has loved this thing from when I was a kid, from the first time I saw it. So I would consider Ryan, Jeremy, me, anybody in the chat who was a fan for over 10 years, an expert on Star Wars. There's varying degrees. There's the EU fans, whatever. But you're a fucking scholar compared to the bankers who work for Disney and the activists who come in and try to usurp these franchises. And you knew that very second it was dead. So now it's just waiting for the giant, stupid corporation to figure it out. Trevor G for $27.99. That's Canadian. Says, you could one-up Vast Christian Song and do a review of Nefarious. I got to wait till it's out on digital. I couldn't see it in the theater. I tried. I was offered to see it, but I wanted to pay for it. The author of the book is based on... and the producer is based, and the producer of the film mentioned you as someone he wanted to get the movie in front of. And I will see it, and I will review it. I committed to doing that, so I will review it. I will review it. I might be able to, like, if it gets out on digital, I don't know where it probably is. I'll find it this weekend. As long as I pay for it. I'm not going to Tortuga it. Enoch Maman, for two parts for $10, says... Oh, this is part 3 and part 4. Did I stop?
No. He just hadn't sent it in, and I thought he was done. So I apologize.
Sarnoff and Saffron also planned on making the intersectional superhero team JSA a Supergirl movie and a Green Lantern show. Zaslav shut those down. Guns planned an intersectional superhero team, The Authority, and a Supergirl movie and a Green Lantern show. Coincidence? But Zaslav hired James Gunn. Like, I mean, do you hire people and then like find out you philosophically disagree with them on just about everything? Yes. I think it's ridiculous for a talk of an 8-year plan. I think that's just freaking dumb. I think it's a dumb move. There should be a 1 movie plan. Make a good Superman movie. Worry about everything else later. I think he's already got... Every time they've tried to create a cinematic universe, they have failed. Let's keep in mind that when Marvel started, it didn't try to make a Marvel cinematic universe. It was trying to get a couple, 3 characters off the ground. That's it. One thing at a time. So, putting the cart before the horse once again.
Exactly.
Once again, and we're talking about a guy who directs films, hasn't run a studio yet. Kathleen Kennedy was a very respected producer in this town until she became an executive, and some people are just promoted beyond their ability. Kathleen Kennedy is perfect proof of that. Part 4, Sarnoff, etc. also had the Bop writer on Birds of Prey on and Tom King to help shape the DCU. Again, coincidence? Or are they just repeating what happened with AT&T? I think it is an example of meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Maybe I'm just paranoid. No, it's not. Hollywood's filled with duplicitous, backstabbing POSs who will pretend to be your friend. That is nothing new. And that's going to also lead into why this town is falling apart. This strike, the writers have some legit complaints. The problem is the producers have some legit complaints. The other problem is they both worked hand in hand to create the Hollywood of today, the modern Hollywood. They both were the architects of the modern Hollywood that fans are rejecting, that paying customers are rejecting to the tune of 40% at the movie theaters. And once they started getting some people back due to some studios recognizing, hey, shit, let's just make stuff that people like, then they go on strike. It was horribly timed. When I asked one of the negotiators of the WGA, what do you think about you guys striking during, pretty perilous economic times? He rejected the idea. He said that these corporations are making millions, and one of the reasons they're making millions is through layoffs. Is through layoffs. They are bolstering their company for the stockholders. Okay, that's true, but I don't think Disney is swimming in money through its entertainment division. I think it gets a lot of money from parks and other companies. So overall, Disney's not going to die, but the entertainment companies need to be profitable for the larger corporation. Hollywood is relying heavily on Amazon right now, who is just spending money like a freaking coke addict in Vegas. But they could shut down their studio tomorrow. I've said this before, and it wouldn't affect their company bottom line at all. It's a vanity project. It's a vanity project, and it's there to drive subs and advertising, or subs to their mail order site, which is what they are. So I'd be nervous. I'd be really nervous if I was in Hollywood. Plus death of movie star, plus Hollywood grappling with the fact of social media being a detriment to them in many ways, including competition that they will never, ever be able to compete with, because they can throw up all the nice studio lights and $1 million studios they want. You can't, and sometimes you just can't compete with, a guy with a beanie sitting in his studio, or Benny Johnson, but like 10,000 Betty Johnsons. You can't compete against that.
In each of those, Gary, you point out with their own niche audience. Like, was it Carrie Smith who was just like, yeah, the whole knitting community? And I'm like, I didn't even know there was a knitting community. Like, if you can carve out a sliver of a small audience that you cater to, 10,000 people, whatever, that's considered nothing but that is a sustainable living for a person who can have 10,000 people that check out their stuff. That's doable.
That's worst case scenario, like, it's not even a worst case scenario. It's a side gig. It's extra income, and you're having fun. You're also having fun. You don't need to be I don't need to be the biggest channel. Like 750,000 subscribers beyond my wildest dreams. That's awesome. I don't need to be the biggest channel. I don't. Never had to be.
But it's no Mr. Beast. I don't really care who Mr. Beast.
I'm never going to be Mr. Beast. No, I'm not. I'm never going to be Critical Drinker. No, I'm not. I don't worry about those people. I mean, I enjoy Critical Drinker because he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good. If you're getting into the content creation game, compete against yourself. That's it. That's the best advice I got. Yeah.
The other thing, Gary, I'm seeing more and more is articles about get ready for the long haul. This is going to be a bloodbath. We're talking about the strike and how these upcoming combined strikes, how long this is going to go on.
Oh, aren't they having a dance party?
Yes, I sent you a thing about how I think it's this Friday.
They're having a strike dance party. They're taking selfies. They're really like doing Star Trek Day, and they're giving each other pizza. I'm like, are they going to be doing this in 5 months?
Because they have nothing to do, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they won't have any money to strike with.
it's all the writers who are successful, and this supposedly is a strike for the working class writer who is not going to have any money in 5 months. And there's a couple of things they're asking for which just aren't realistic, like a mandatory minimum of writers in a writer room. What? Like residuals, fine. Absolutely. Show us the streaming numbers. I'm all for that. I hope they win big on that one. I hope the producers bend the knee and we get to find out what the actual streaming numbers are. That would be so exciting for very selfish reasons. But Chris, everybody I've talked to, even including, the WGA guy is going to say WGA things, but he made it sound like it's going to go a while, like a long while.
Yeah. Oh, I watched that interview with you and Rob together.
Yeah. Couldn't ask much.
It was fascinating. You guys asked really good questions, especially about the numbers. The numbers will never be revealed. Only producers or showrunners will. This is weird control. It's typical Hollywood wants to control everything. But yeah, that was a weird answer.
It was, the lead negotiators know the numbers for the WGA, but they can't share them. So I'm like, but like, why? I mean, that's a weird one for me, because if you're the lead negotiator for your people, your collective, which you are fighting for, and you know the numbers, but you can't share them, like, why? Like, that's what you're fighting for. It's proprietary. Okay, it's proprietary, but shit, that seems to be a pretty good negotiation. Like, to me, it sounds like they know the numbers are low, and they just don't want to break it to the to the rest of the writers.
In some cases, they're high and they don't want to pay people more.
Well, producers, I think, in some case, like Stranger Things, clearly gets watched by a lot of people. Cobra Kai clearly gets watched by. There are a handful of shows that are extremely popular, without a doubt.
100%.
But then there's most of them are just farts in the wind. Like Willow probably got watched by a couple 100,000 people. Let's be real. And they're all named Disparu. He watched it more than anybody.
Poor guy.
Okay, we're coming up on our heart out here for my super secret project. Okay, I didn't do the Square Up Monday night because I had to go on. I did a live stream with Clobbering Times. Go check it out. Thursday night. Thursday night is our Square Up. Be about 8 p.m. Central on Nerdrotic Live. So if I missed your super chat, please tune in there. But we're going to read a couple more here. Nerds Gold for $50.
Wow.
If they just if they just sat for an hour, had an atom of ingenuity, I wonder if they could have had a specter of an idea about. I see what you're doing here. Specter of an idea about a team that might actually make some sense. The Authority, and that would change the fate of the DCU. So you dropped Dr. Fate, the Atom, the Spectre. Dude, the JSA should be the first team. You're right. And even if you did it a la The Watchmen, and just did a montage or something before a Justice League movie, or you have your earlier, and that would lead you, like, you could do period piece movies. You could do, just pick one. I think Dr. Fate would probably be awesome in like the 30s. That would be fucking cool. But pick your time, whatever. Just to do it. You could do period pieces with those characters, and instead of an Authority. So you can have a gay Batman, a gay Superman married. That's the only reason you would pick the Authority. Like, that was purely a vanity pick for James Gunn. Right? If I was given a DCEU or whatever, I think it's Wildstorm anyway, my vanity pick would be We Three. Has nothing to do with superheroes, but I just like the fucking story a lot. So I'd go, yeah, I want to do this movie for me. But like the Authority would work in a chapter 10 of the DC universe, not in chapter 1. It's such a bad, and you can tell what they're going to do. They're going to make that the first team, and they're going to like fuck things up, and that's going to lead to a Justice League forming. So a good team forming later. Like, that's pretty much what I think everybody can guess, that's what they're going to do. Well, that was kind of the approach Zack Snyder took, and it didn't work with everybody. Whether you're a fan of him or not, you got to admit, didn't work with everybody. Whose fault is it? Warner Brothers, producers, yes, but it didn't work with everybody.
But what James Gunn has to do is show restraint.
Yeah.
And basically, so much when you look at like Guardians 3, yes, I enjoyed it, but damn, could it have been shorter? Restraint in terms of just whether it be running time, whether it be putting his friend in a part and then maybe lingering a little too much on his friend or his wife. Like, it's like, dude, like it's too much. It's not, this is why you get too many cooks or too many concerns. Because I mean, it's so rare that like a film series or a franchise gets to a certain number in that franchise and it's actually decent. Well, by the way, Gary, I got another email newsletter from one of the many newsletters I subscribe to. I got to just, the title of this article, how to make sure you are ready for the coming shitstorm. So that's the title of an actual article. But
shitstorm, like the strike?
Would be,
the strike? Is it concerning the
that?
strike?
It's just
Or
related to everything. Not just the strike, just like things
Hollywood?
are going to change.
The paradigm shift?
Hollywood
Ooh, send me that. Send me that. Send me that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I look at like James Gunn, like I don't think of him as Superman. I think of him as like Suicide Squad. I think is a perfect match for what he does.
Yeah.
Right. That was fine. I thought that was great. I actually think I like that Suicide Squad movie better than Guardians 3.
The Suicide Squad.
Well, parts of it.
I did too. I did too. Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with that assessment.
But him doing Superman, I just don't see that as a match, you know? I'd almost rather see someone like Christopher Nolan do Superman and do his, because he was involved in Man of Steel, and
yes, he
also
was
kind of he distanced himself creatively because he just didn't agree with a lot of what Snyder was doing, and then it turned out how it turned out. But I think that being grounded in a reality was a good thing. Maybe making it a little too dark was probably not a good choice. But man, I don't know, like who would be right for a Superman movie now? I don't know. Exactly.
Vince, Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
Matthew Vaughn. He's had an idea forever. Him and Mark Millar.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Danny Snowflame. Cocaine is his god, and he is the instrument of its will. For $50. 50. Hail, this one is directed to Frank Gore or Chris Gore. Adam Gorlock. Whatever your name is, may I suggest a rebranding? I love the sentiment of the hot phobic, but it feels too clunky on the tongue. May I suggest fit phobic instead? No, I like hot phobic.
You can be fit and not hot, technically.
Yeah. Hot phobic. Hot phobic is not a word. It's stupid.
It's supposed to be stupid.
Which reminds me of other words that might also be stupid.
Yeah.
So it's like ridiculousness of that word. The fact that it really is clunky is why it's memorable. Well, fit phobic is because I do actually love alliteration. So thank you for that. I'm an alliteration fan. But hot phobic is such a dumb word that it actually is it's intended to be mocking.
It is. And we're at our heart out. So we got one more. I apologize. On this show, we do read them all. So Thursday, 8 p.m., Nerdrotic Live. The rest will be read and given their full time. Mark of Reality for $20 says, I'm Gary's age approximately. My brother went to my dad's house and found some old stuff, including my 14-inch tall Darth Vader that I had since I was 7. I remember those. Disney killed a piece of my childhood. Yep. I kept all my Star Wars figures for years and gave them away after The Last Jedi. Just like
that's heartbreaking.
Dead to me. Gave them to my patrons when I had Patreon. Okay, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone who's left a super chat and donation. Thanks to the Modrotics. Chris, what you got coming up?
Critics Court today. Star Wars is on trial. It starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. You are the jury, so join us as a member of the jury. Gonna be great. We have Shane from Popcast on, Tom from Midnight's Edge. So it's gonna be a fun trial today, and check it out. Please join me. Alan will be there. Alan Ing.
Go watch my dad.
Yeah, watch X-Ray Girls. I used that clip on the show that we shot in Vegas. It was hilarious. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
And Gary, I left you a gift in Twitter. I DM'd you on Twitter, and I left you a little gift, a real movie that exists. Maybe you could screen share. I said X-Ray Girl too.
Oh my God, my face when I saw that.
I feel like it's a real movie.
I thought it was a joke.
Is it funny?
It exists.
Is it funny?
I saw the trailer for it. It looks terrible.
Is it supposed to be a joke? I mean, it's got to be a joke. It's
No,
gotta
this
be.
is a real movie.
No. No.
It
You
looks
gotta share
horrible.
screen now.
I
You
am
gotta share
sharing
it.
the
You gotta
screen.
go. This is
Ugh,
Sheroes.
more like zeros.
Oh my god, this is
It
so
might
dumb.
almost be over, folks. It might almost be over. This could actually be good news. If this was a comedy, that would be effing funny. If it was just a bunch of girl bosses like dying in horrible ways,
Made fun of all the woke
it would be
tropes that are
so
out
good.
there.
Oh well.
I've seen the trailer. It's serious, but it's so serious it looks stupid.
Okay, I can't wait to see
Maybe you
it.
can watch it on FNT for fun.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Gary. And just thanks for having me on here. Always fun to hang out with you and X-Ray Girl on a Wednesday. I really appreciate it.
Cheers. X-Ray Girl, what you got coming up?
Tonight we got legal mindset on poor choices. So if you want to ask questions about passport bros, and I just found out he lived in Asia, so we're gonna just chat a little bit about that. So yeah, poor choices. We also have a Knock Maman again with another.
Just a reminder that Christopher McQuarrie and Henry Cavill wrote a script for a Man of Steel sequel on the set of MI6. That would be good. It'd be based on The Man of All Seasons, which would even be better. They wanted Joseph Kosinski to direct. McQuarrie and Kosinski made Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I would watch the shit out of that. Absolutely.
Oh my god,
That's what they should do.
Top Gun Maverick. Joseph Kosinski directing a Superman movie based on that's just how is that not a home run?
How is that
so
not
stupid.
doing? And thank you for the congratulations on 750,000 subscribers. We'll do like a continuation of the celebration at a later date, probably Monday. But thank you all again, and I will see you all soon. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Later. Cool. Take care, Gary.
Bye.
Thanks.
You gotta go.
I gotta
Yeah.
go.
Okay. See
Good
you next
luck.
week.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.